Welcome back to the Woman of Wellness podcast. I'm so glad to have you here. I'm your host, Elizabeth Dahl, and I am your coach to help you make peace with food and create sustainable, healthy habits to achieve your health goals. Today, we're going to be talking about the number one reason that you're stuck with your health goals. I'm excited to jump into this episode, but before I do, I have a little story for you and a very exciting announcement for you. If you are looking for support in creating those sustainable, healthy habits and getting the results that you want with your health and wellness, whether it be weight loss or energy or just showing up in a better way, feeling healthier, I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about that. But before I do, I wanted to share a story because it applies to what I'm going to be talking about today. I hurt my back over the weekend. I was, chasing my little 1-year-old down some bleachers and went to grab her and bent just the right way. And that was the end of that. So I actually spent most of the weekend on the couch, just heating it. And as I was kind of thinking about this episode today, in fact, I actually already recorded this episode, okay? I recorded it and then I had it all scheduled for Monday, which I said Monday was going to be the podcast day. Guess what? We're going to go back to Tuesday. I'm just in a season of life where I need a little extra day just in case I'm behind, which happens. So anyway, it didn't feel right. And so I'm recording it again right now, a couple days after hurting my back. And I actually think it is, there's a reason for it. So anyway, I hurt my back and I was thinking a lot about it today. And you take certain things for granted. You take just simple movement, right? The ability to pick things up. I went to Costco today and I had to have them help, load my car. And I think all of us have something that maybe we take for granted or we really appreciate because we have lost it or struggled with it. And so I'm in a space today where, I'm having to be very cautious. And I'm doing some rehab, and I'm so grateful that, first of all, I have pretty healthy habits that support a mostly healthy body most of the time. Things happen, and the cool thing is it happened. I know what to do. I know how to strengthen my back. I know to help with my back mobility. And, I know how to get myself back. And I really believe it's because of the habits that I've created. And I think a lot about that, and I think about creating healthy habits. Sometimes it's not very, sexy, right? To teach about healthy habits or to do healthy habits. There's so much in the health and wellness space that's big, right? You do something for 30 days or 75 hard. I mean, I don't know if that's super big popular anymore, but you do certain things and you go big on them, right? Like you drop significant calories. We've got GLP-1s, in our society at a really high rate now, right? We're dropping calories significantly. We're drastically changing our body. We're doing a lot of things, and I understand that a lot of that stuff is very appealing, right? Especially when you feel like you're in a place where you're just desperate to feel better. And I'm kind of in a place in a different arena, okay? So I understand that we all have different, it's all different, but it's very similar feelings where it's like, okay, I want to get back to, a healthy body. I want to feel good. I want to be able to live my life, live as a woman of wellness. That's really all of our goals, I hope, right? Is to live healthy and energized and be able to show up for our lives and feel good in our bodies and feel confident in our bodies. And when something like injury or weight gain or, binging, overeating, emotional eating, those kinds of things get in the way, it's really frustrating for us. And I don't think we realize how pivotal our habits right now are for us 5, 10, 20, 30 years in the future. In fact, I was watching a video of a famous singer, which I'm embarrassed. Maybe everyone knows who it is. I don't even know her name, but she was kind of sharing that because she had gone on a bunch of weight loss drugs and had some anorexia, that her body at a very young age was going through, I would probably say, like bone weakening. I don't know if she was fully osteoporosis, but probably some osteopenia and stuff. And just thinking about that at such a young age and thinking about how she could have and still can support her body, but it begins now. It begins with the healthy habits now. So I wanted to discuss this today. I think this is really important because, like I said, it's not always excitement like, oh, I'm gonna drop 30 pounds in 30 days, or I'm going to cut out all carbs, or like just kind of that extreme approach. But recognizing that the habits that you create today are the habits that are going to be with you long term. So if you haven't created a habit of strength training in your life, you are at a higher risk for lower bone density, especially after menopause. We start to lose a lot at a faster rate, okay? And things like that. Not everyone is. I mean, we've got family history, we've got genetics that play a role. But another thing, if you're consistently overeating or binging on food, you are at a higher risk to be at a higher weight, which puts you at a higher risk for diabetes, high blood pressure, right? All of those things. Opposite end, if you are creating these habits now, these healthy habits of regular movement, honoring your hunger and fullness, mindfully eating so that you're eating to support, a body size that is healthy and supports you, you're more likely to be able to see the results longer term, right? Like we're going to be much happier in 10, 20, 30 years. And we're also going to be happier today. And I'm really an advocate for making sure that habits fit your lifestyle now and that they feel good and you enjoy them and they help support the bigger picture. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, is why we're stuck with our health goals. So why am I talking about all this? Well, a culmination of all my work, of all the things that I've done, I feel like kind of comes to where we are right now, where I really want to help women feel like they have a really solid, what is in one place resource for their health and wellness and their habits. And then the additional things that they may need, like someone going through menopause or someone that wants to learn more about nutrition. And I'm offering it, I'm opening it for founding members next week. Okay, what date is that? I'm going to look here. February 10th. Okay, so I'm going to be opening it next week for a special founding member price, as well as some really special founding member bonuses. What is it? The Women's Wellness Hub. It's a place where you come to learn how to create healthy, sustainable habits in 4 core areas of your health so that we can create weight loss, body confidence, strength in our bodies, right? Cardiovascular health, all of the above, right? We create these healthy habits and sustain them for a long time. And I teach you exactly how to begin implementing these habits so that you don't fizzle out. Because I kind of have a serious question for you. Are you where you want to be with your health right now? That's a real question. I want you to think about it. Are you where you want to be with your health, your weight, your nutrition, your fitness? How far off are you? How far off do you feel? that's where the Women's Wellness Hub is going to fill in the gaps to help you close that gap from where you are to where you want to be with very simple strategies to stick to healthy habits. And I teach you how to implement them one at a time. And I teach you how to create a fully balanced, healthy lifestyle with nutrition, fitness, weight, all of the above. Okay. And then we've got the core, the foundations here, right? These are important. Here's the deal. If you want to have any health goal, the 4 core habits that I teach you in the Women's Wellness Hub are crucial. You have to have these in order for you to achieve any goal. And most of them will help you achieve the goal. And then if you have additional goals like, oh, you want to run a marathon, then we, layer that on and I teach you how to do that. Or I don't know, maybe you want to do a bodybuilding competition, right? So if you don't have these foundational principles in place, if you don't know how to honor your hunger and fullness and eat food mindfully so that you don't continue to overeat, you can't get into a place of weight loss, right? Or if you don't have a movement plan, it's going to be really hard to create sustainable weight loss in your life. Or if you don't know how to balance your nutrition and eat nutritiously, you can't ... right? You won't have the energy. And so we create the foundation. It's just like a house. A house has to have a foundation in order for us to build walls and roofs and put everything inside of it, right? We create the foundation. And that's what the Women's Wellness Hub begins with. And then from there, I am curating, I think that's the best word, experts to come in, experts in women's health specifically, to come in and teach all of those additional components that go to women's health. So I mentioned earlier that my back is hurting. We actually have an expert coming to share a masterclass with us. So you'll be able to learn from it, get takeaways, have step-by-step plan through her masterclass about back mobility and back pain. So helping create a more mobile spine, preventing and supporting back pain. Oh, that alone is like gold. We have guests coming to talk about hormones, menopause. What else? Perimenopause. We've got emotional eating, food freedom, gut health, like how to heal your gut. So many different areas of women's health. And really, what I want this to be is a space where you don't feel like you have to go somewhere else. I had a call with one of our membership communities at the beginning of this year, and they all kind of shared the same sentiment that they were feeling overwhelmed with all the information out there. And I really just wanted to create a one-stop shop, if you would, that's all included, to help you become your best, create your best health ever, and become a woman of wellness, whatever that looks like for you. It's a little different for everyone, and that's the beauty of it. So make sure you stick around for next week. You can also get yourself on the wait list at awomanofwellness.com/hub. I will put it in the show notes. If you're on the newsletter, you're going to hear all about it. But just make sure that you are getting my emails, okay? If you're getting my emails, then you will have everything you need. If you're listening to the podcast, I'll be sharing more about it next week as well. If you're on Instagram, same thing. But you do need to get on the email list to see all of the features and everything for joining this community of women. And I have such a big vision to help support you in your health and wellness and just becoming that woman of wellness. I hope that you feel what that phrase could mean for you. And I'm serious when I say it's important to take a look at where you are right now and ask yourself, where do I want to go, right? And where's that gap? And am I happy with my health? Or what do I need to do to change it? What do I need to do become the woman of wellness that I want to become? And what does a woman of wellness mean to me? So thank you for letting me share that. I hope more than anything that you feel my love for you. You feel my desire to serve you. I'm not going to go into it because we're already getting a little bit long, but I really hope this is kind of motivating you, making you feel feelings. But I was actually on my way to nursing school, and I changed tracks because I made a decision in my life that I really wanted to support people in becoming healthier, and preventing some of the illnesses that were preventable that I saw in particular areas of the hospital that I worked. I think nurses are amazing. I think they are incredible. And I also found myself wanting to take a little different path. And it feels like I'm just in the right space right now. And I hope you feel that. And I hope you feel the support that I have for you. And I'm really excited about this Women's Wellness Hub. If you join us for the founding members, you're going to get a lot of special things that nobody else will get. So anyway, let's jump into the episode. That was kind of part of the episode. I planned for it to be part of the episode. But we're talking a little bit about why we're stuck, right? And the reason that you're stuck. Well, let me tell you. I'm going to give it to you right now. The reason that you're stuck with your health goals is because you're too focused on the big picture. Think about it. Anytime you decide that you want to set a goal, let's just say weight loss, because that is a very common goal. You have weight loss. So then all of a sudden you go, okay, weight loss. Well, I want to be this weight. So, you set it in the future, you set a goal, and then you think, okay, well, if I want to lose weight, I have to do X, Y, Z, P, Q, R, right? Like we get in our minds that we have to do all these things. We have to overhaul our entire diet, overhaul or start exercising, right? Overhaul our movement plan, get rid of sugar, get rid of carbs, get rid of sodas, right? All these things, because we're focused on this kind of like big picture of weight loss, right? And the reason that is holding you back is because it keeps you in overwhelm mode, which then keeps you stuck. You create your own gap. Think about it. Where you are, where you want to be, and that gap is the very messy middle that has variability to it, right? That has life written in it everywhere. You're going to have rough days. You're going to have good days. You're going to have tired days, right? You're going to have things. And we're so focused on the big picture of like, okay, this is exactly what it's supposed to look like. Let me give you an example. I do this a ton with business, so I'm not immune to this, okay? I get in my mind what I want everything to look like. So my brain is like, podcast every week and newsletter every week, and I'm going to make sure I'm growing on YouTube, and I'm going to post on Instagram, and I've got to do all these things because that's what everyone does for their business, right? That's how they maintain it. Well, then I just get really overwhelmed and have a panic attack because I don't have the capacity for all of that stuff all the time. In fact, I am recording for YouTube, but I have to be honest, I'm probably not going to be worried too much about growing YouTube. It's going to be there, but I don't have the capacity to learn about how to grow a YouTube channel. And that's okay, right? But what I do have capacity for and want to do is the podcast each week and a newsletter each week. And I'm working on, I've got that down, right? I've been working on that for so long that I've got it down. I've released a weekly episode this is season 5, so it's been a while. 5 years, wow, almost 5 years. Anyway, and so right now, one of my goals and my strategy is like, okay, I have the capacity to maybe work on this one area because I have these down. I've been working on these habits for a while. And I'm not saying it's going to take you 5 years to work on one habit, but what we do is we create the gap because we make the big goal the only thing we think about, right? And again, it makes us get in this mode of perfection, right? It has to be perfect. It has to be perfectly lined up. I can lose 2 pounds a week, so I count 10 weeks, right? That's 20 pounds. And we get in our minds that that's how it's going to work. But then life happens and there's so much variability. So what do we do? First, it's okay to create your vision. It's okay to have a big picture vision, right? It's okay to say, this is what I want as a woman of wellness. Hold it. Make it and hold on to it. Okay? But then there's something that you forget to do. I'm going to grab some water really quick. There's something that you forget to do. And I'm going to tell you an analogy, because I love stories and analogies and I hope they make sense, that's going to help you better understand it. My husband and I are deep into Severance on Apple Plus. I don't know, has anyone watched Severance? So it's a really good it's a really good series where the people that are in the film, their work life and their home life are separated. So when they go down an elevator, they have a little chip in their head, and when they go down the elevator to work, they lose the memories that they have of home. So they're just at work and they don't have any memories of anything outside of work. And then when they go up the elevator, they only know their life outside of work. So they don't know what they're doing in work. They do know they go to work, but they get severed and they know they have a chip and all that stuff. So anyway, they're in the basement of this big building that has tons of different paths. So it's just like a bunch of white walls and it's like a maze, is the best way I could describe it. And there was this one scene that we were watching the other night where the hallway was dark, but each time these people took a step forward, so they were like going somewhere, the light in front of them would turn on. And then they take a step forward and the next light would turn on. And they take a step forward and the next light would turn on. And I thought that was so powerful of an analogy for our goals and our habits. It's okay to have the vision. It's okay to hold on to that vision. But the way that you are going to achieve any goal in your life is by focusing on the present. By taking one step at a time, by saying each day I am going to mindfully eat my food so that I don't overeat, right? Each day, each meal, I'm going to practice. And at first it's a little bit more of a practice, but it becomes second nature. We know these things about life, right? When we start to get habits, it takes a little bit more energy at first, and then it starts to become pretty natural for us. But if you want to change the future, you stop focusing on the future and you focus on the present and you take one step. And this maze, this building is a big maze. And the reality is your life is a big maze too. And there are going to be moments of pause. Okay, I've got to pause and I've got one path here. I've got one path here where I can turn this way. I can turn that way. And I need to make a decision. What choice do I want to make next? What choice do I want to make next? And the choices that you make today influence the outcomes for tomorrow. The choices that you make today influence the outcomes for tomorrow. I would even say it creates, right, the tomorrows. And when we're so stuck in the mentality of, the goal, we forget that it's the little habits of saying like, okay, I'm going to go for a walk today, or I'm going to honor my movement plan. I'm going to exercise, right? I'm going to sit down and eat my meal. I'm going to stop when I feel full. I'm going to turn to something else instead of emotionally eat today. Instead of saying, well, one more cookie and then tomorrow I'll change. Tomorrow never comes. Isn't that a Garth Brooks song? If tomorrow never comes. It's a little different in that scenario, but I'm just saying, tomorrow doesn't change today. Tomorrow is a result of the choices that you make today. So hold your big picture, focus on the present, and turn that big picture into a process, right? Just like I mentioned, each week my process is releasing a podcast episode. Have I gone through seasons of not having it every single week? Absolutely. Have I been perfect? Heck no. Heck no. And I've had moments where I've had to pause, turn, right? but I keep taking the step forward for that light to keep coming in and saying, okay, let's keep going. And it's gotten us, our podcast to I think we're at 200,000 downloads. Okay. And that's really exciting. And it's been because of that consistent work. And I can't stop. Here's a good analogy. I can't stop the podcast and then hope that in 5 years it's going to have 1 million downloads. I also can't just release 20 podcast episodes today and hope that it gets 1 million downloads tomorrow. How often do we approach our goals that way? Either we wait until it's perfect without taking messy action, or we try to do too many things at once and expect a really extreme outcome right away, but then we get overwhelmed and fizzle out. So I hope this episode helps you understand maybe where you're stuck, helps you understand why there's that gap there, why it feels like you can't get where you want to go, and let us help you. Please join us in the Women's Wellness Hub. We're going to help you craft your 4 core habits. I'm going to walk you through how to create habits that stick, how each of these can go into your lifestyle. I'm going to teach you how to master the mindset of change. How often do you fizzle out because things get too hard? Perfection mindset creeps in. Shame, guilt, right? Failure. We've got to have a pretty strong mindset to keep going, because some days are not going to go perfectly. And sometimes you're not going to get the results that you want, and you have to keep walking and pivot. You may have to pivot. You may have to see what choices you've been making and then make a little turn. And we have to be in the right mindset to not just give up. And if you're there, I want you to know you're not alone, and we're going to meet you where you are. Okay? If you're frustrated and you've tried so many things, we're going to meet you where you are. Okay? You're going to practice the habits with measurements, and you're going to progressively build on it so you have those core habits in place to achieve any goal you want. And then we're going to bring that additional support in for optimization or specialization, right? Maybe it's like, okay, I'm seeing that I'm doing these core habits and my weight is not changing. Well, let's make sure we have this hormone expert that tells us what we need to do to make sure our hormones are in the right place. Or, I did get injured. How can I support my body through recovery with fitness? We're going to have these women's health experts coming that have masterclasses inside for you to access. Okay. So then you can help support your body even further, because we know that those things come in, right? Those turns may have to be made. Right now I'm rehabbing my back, and I'm not going to hit the gym tomorrow like I normally do. And that's okay. Things had to slow down for a minute, but I'm still focused on my goal. I'm still going to go run the Spartan race like I'm planning on, right? It's not going to derail me. I just need to slow it down, take better care of my back, and get back to it. Okay, so I already mentioned some of the experts we're going to have: gut health, macros, mobility, back pain. We've got some breathwork expert for regulating your emotions. I'm really excited about this one. We've got an anxiety coach. So if you struggle with any anxiety, it's about the whole body picture, right? The whole wellness picture for women. So I'm glad that you were here with me today. Here's what I want to leave you with. Okay, I want you to ask yourself one question. What can I focus on today that will get me one step closer to my vision of a woman of wellness? What can I focus on today? Is it moving your body just a little bit more? Is it sitting down with your meals? Is it adding a vegetable to your meal, saying, my body is worthy of this support? Your body is worthy of supporting it no matter how many times you failed, no matter how uncomfortable you feel in your body or your weight. Those things I get it, and I work with women on this, right? When we feel uncomfortable in our bodies, if we feel like we've gone too far, it feels really hard not to do something desperate, right? If you're in that space, we honor that space. Okay. I honor that space for you. And I hope you do too, because your body is worthy of nourishment and nurturing to change. And that's what we're going to help you with. So that's your question for today. If you would love the additional help, I'd love to have you with us in the Women's Wellness Hub. There's more surprises that I might share next week, but thank you for joining me for this episode, and I'll be back next week with another episode.